when what you know is so nearly kind of gone and taken away from you, it really makes you appreciate everything. I've always loved, my horses, deeply and from the bottom of my heart, but it makes you realise what incredible animals they are, and that they're so much more than just, horses that we compete and ride. They're our best friends, and, they pushed me through my darkest days. So, I guess for me, I just feel so lucky to be doing what I love again, and I just enjoy every time I get back in the saddle, because I'm aware of how close it was to never doing that again. So my name's Bubby Upton. I'm a 25-year-old event rider for Great Britain, and I've been lucky enough to represent my country 5 times throughout the Youth European Championships, and medal 7 times in those championships. But the dream is to represent my country at a senior level, and I guess ultimately ride at the Olympics. So 2023 was a very mixed rollercoaster year for me. It started off incredibly. I got my first top 10 at Badminton on Cola at the start of the year. A couple of months later, I won the under-25 championships for the 2nd time. And then the young horses were performing really well as well. And then it kind of all came, tumbling down in August, when I sadly had a kind of freak fall just riding on the flat at home. Basically, I had a complete burst fracture to L3, and I had then multiple other fractures on other levels as well. But the burst fracture of L3 was the concern, because it went into the spinal region, which created a paralysis on my right side at the start. And then I had to undergo emergency surgery, which was meant to be 4 hours, and it ended up being a lot more complicated than anticipated. So it took 7 hours in the end. So my poor family, I can't even imagine, what it was like for them. But I owe everything to my surgeon. He worked miracles. So the rehab was extensive, and it was long, and obviously, very tough. But again, just so lucky to have had that road to recover on. And then when I knew that there was kind of a recovery that was possible, we gave it our absolute all. Kind of every day, every minute I was able to do rehab, we gave it 120%. So kind of day by day, step by step, we learnt to kind of walk again in the pool and move my right leg again. And then kind of before you know it, I was in the gym, and very different type of gym workout to what I was used to. I've always taken my fitness and my kind of strength very seriously, and I think that's probably half of what saved me in my accident, that and obviously a lot of luck. But when I got back to the gym, that was probably one of the lowest points in the recovery, because I could barely walk, I couldn't sit down or stand up without help, and that was probably the weakest that I'd ever felt. But we kept pushing, and we constantly set new goals and targets, and my family and my friends, and my horses, it's going so well. So my friends, family and horses, the strength that they gave me was just, it's impossible to put it into words, and I owe them everything for, pushing me through, and here we are now today. I guess at heart, I'm just a girl that's totally obsessed with horses, so kind of the love for them and the thought of riding them again is what kind of provided me with all the strength and kept pushing me on the kind of the bad days as such. When I got a bit stronger, then obviously the thought of riding again and that kind of goal in the timeline was a huge kind of pillar of strength for me. I had a meeting with my surgeon, which was at the 3-month point post-surgery. But then when it edged closer, we pushed so hard to be as strong as possible to increase kind of the hope of being able to ride again. But we never thought as a team he would ever say that I could ride again that day. I was still so weak. And then I went into the meeting with him and I had rescans, and he was so pleased with the progress and said that I could ride again. And yeah, I just burst into tears, and it was, yeah, magical. And yeah, I never thought it would happen that soon. And yeah, it was just the best day ever.
Good news, good news.
Guess who's riding tomorrow?
Oh,
I know.
I just want to give you the biggest hug.
I know. Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, Bobby.
It's funny because actually getting back onto the horses, I was just so focused on kind of how it felt, but it also was a bit of a shock as to how far I had to go. So it was a slight reality check of how much work we still had to do and how far away we were from where we used to be. And I guess then the slight thought in the back of my head of, you know, will I ever be as good again, and will I ever ride at the standard that I used to? So that was a slightly scary and uncertain point, but being back on was enough for me. And whether that was just going to be hacking forevermore and, you know, no more competitions, that was a thought that I, you know, had come to terms with, because just being back on board these incredible animals was just, yeah, it was so magical. I think subconsciously I had always hoped and dreamed that I would be ready to compete at badminton. But when I got back riding, I think I jumped for the first time in January. Everything then started coming back a bit more, and my kind of normal riding started to kick back in. So I think then at that point, I dared to dream about badminton. I didn't share that with my family or my team, but a couple of months later, about February time, I voiced it for the first time, and they turned around to me and were just like, surely we can just aim for something a lot later. And I was just adamant. I said, absolutely not. Even if it doesn't happen, I need something to push for. I need something to aim for. So yeah, we never stopped pushing. And then, yeah, the dream came true and we ended up going to badminton, and just being back in the sport was, you know, felt like a dream come true. So being back winning and right at the top at, you know, the greatest event in the world at badminton is, yeah, God, yeah, kind of, I feel like I'm in a dream a bit sometimes. Badminton was so nearly the fairy tale that, that I guess one always dreams of is possible. It's too special to put into words what it meant being back there with, you know, my family around me, and my best friends came to watch, and yeah, it was just incredible. And there's no feeling like riding at badminton, and for my horse to perform the way he did, and it meant so much more than just the result. It was kind of 8 months of roller coaster emotions, of hard work, uncertainty, you know, trauma, etc. And yeah, to get that result was, yeah, it was incredible. It meant even more being there with Kola. He's a horse that has given me so much. I've had Kola for 8 years now. I got him as a 6-year-old, and he's a horse that's kind of time and time again exceeded expectations. Every time we step him up a level, he, yeah, exceeded what we had ever hoped. Yeah, he's just the best. I owe him everything, and yeah, he's a fighter, and I know that he'll never fail to give me his all, so it's my job to do him justice. So my dream is obviously to ride at the top of my sport and for my country. There's no feeling quite like, you know, riding for your country and putting on your team kit and Yeah, that's the dream and the goal, and we've got our eyes set on hopefully the Olympics in 2028 would be, you know, a real dream come true for us. But, you know, we're just enjoying each event as it comes. Yeah, hopefully the future's bright because I've certainly got some, lovely talented horses. So I'm definitely pushing, for the top.